Now, please, I'd like to welcome Chandra Mohan. First, I'll share his brief background with you. This year, he ranked 20, and he's an IAS officer. He's done his BTech from NSIT Delhi, and he's been preparing since late 2013. In his first attempt, after his BTech, he worked for an year and a half with Deloitte, as a business analyst. Then he quit his job and he started preparing. When he started preparing, in the first attempt, he didn't clear the prelims. In the second attempt, he cleared all 3 stages and got rank 617 and opted for Indian Postal and Telecom Service. This year, he's got rank 25 and he's an IAS officer. So, Chandra Mohan will be sharing with you what is that fine difference between the same person's attempt when he is successful and not. He will also be sharing important insights about the optional subject, how to select optional, what should be the guiding criteria. See, UPSC has more than 20 odd optionals you have to select. So this variety or choice is literally mind-boggling. There are a lot of optionals with which we are somewhat familiar, like history, geography, etc. There are some which are much more popular in civil service preparation, such as say sociology, which was also Chandra Mohan's optional, which we haven't studied perhaps in our graduation, particularly if we are say a BTech. And of course there are optionals which you can pick from whatever has been your academic background, like Amrita did, right? So she's been always associated with the field of political science and international relations, graduation, masters, now PhD. So she opted for that. Chandra Mohan skipped to a completely new stream, sociology, never studied it earlier. Yes or no? So what should be your criteria? And also, how many of us are contemplating sociology as an optional? Chandra Mohan wanted to get a feel of the audience. Please raise your hands. All right. How many of us are not sure which optional to pick? Mighty confused. It's perfectly legitimate to be confused. So, accordingly, Chandra Mohan will be structuring his talk. Also, he is very importantly his personal learnings from the process of preparation. Right? So, please a big round of applause for Chandra Mohan Garg.
First of all, thank you. It's working. First of all, thank you, sir, for giving me this opportunity to share my experience over here. Though my has not been as full of ups and downs as Amrita's, but surely you will be able to relate with my journey. I'll be trying to talk on 2 important aspects, as sir said. What I felt different, selected and person who is still aspiring for, and secondly, what are my key learnings. So I'll talk regarding this with in relation to my own journey. In 2011, year in doing my engineering, I also had that fever of UPSC civil services examination. So I started preparing for civil services. I prepared for around 4.5 months. Then I joined a test series to evaluate how am I doing. And I was doing awesomely well. My ranks were out of, if say 3,000 or 4,000 people are there, I would be 2,000, 3,000, that. So I decided that UPSC is my cup of tea and I quit my prep. Basically 3 reasons that made me quit. Short-term memory. I felt that there is so much to remember, so much to cram, and I can't even remember my own passwords. So forget about what will I, forget about, hello? So forget about what will later to syllabus. Second factor, that इतने साल invest करो और पता चले कुछ ना हो. 100 seats are there for IAS, 1,000 seats are there over. Thought that is it worth that risk? That was the second reason, fear. And third was negativity. Like all of us thinks कि IAS में जो निकालते हैं, they are either they are very intelligent or they are having out of box capabilities, they are very hardworking or something or the other. So even I had that particular stuff कि IAS एक particular category के लोग होते हैं and even only they make it and I am not that capable enough. So I thought that why to take that risk and all that tension. I am already placed in a very good company, Deloitte, so let me have fun, let me enjoy my life. So I joined Deloitte and even I was planning to have my own startup. Then with few experiences and learnings, I finally quit both these things and started preparing for civil services. I got 617 rank and then I got rank 25. So if I look back and think that the same guy who had quit UPSC as a dream and the same guy who has got rank 25 now, what is the difference? If I talk about, it is not my abilities or it is not my intelligence or capabilities that have taken a difference, but I think the biggest difference was in my attitude. Pehle IAS was a desire, but after my learnings and experiences it became a dream कि करना है तो यही करना है. And when you have clarity of goal and when you purposefully know कि this is something you have to go for, तो determination and बाकी सारी चीजें अपने आप आने लगती हैं. So I think biggest differentiating factor for me was my attitude towards civil services examination. Now I did not took it lightly or now I just did not took it कि it is just a kind of a side option or something. If I am doing this, then I want this. That was the first difference. Second thing I feel the differentiating factor was how I approached my examination preparation. It is not the difference in intelligence among the people who are sitting over here, but only few of you will be able to do well or some of you are, I do not know who will perform how. And what will be the differentiating factor is going to be how do you approach and prepare for this examination. That is the second thing. I'll talk about this in detail in my learning part. I don't want to stretch on this right now. And third thing, like every competitive examination has requirement of particular skills. Even UPSC has some particular skill requirement that you have to develop. So you need to focus on that. So probably that is one thing I was able to work upon in my course of preparation. For example, if I talk about people who are writing mains, उनकी knowledge aspect में ज़्यादा difference नहीं होता है. So where does the difference lies? That is in your articulation. That how in 8 minutes are you able to deliver what a question is requiring. So that is the third thing I was able to work upon that helped me in performing well. So these are the key differentiating factors. So don't ever think कि if you have not performed well in your graduation, in your academics in your past, if you don't have a good memory, if you don't have a good IQ, these things will not matter. What matters is how you approach now. It is not your past that will define your future, but your present. So पीछे क्या किया, forget it. Right now what you have to do is the most important thing. And all of us have failures. None of us has a very good academic background or something. So that is one thing you have to keep in mind. Now if I talk about my own learnings, what I feel is important, I will divide this into two parts. One is clarity in your mind and second is clarity in your preparation. So what I mean by clarity in your mind, it has few aspects. One, I have already discussed that you should be very clear, you should have clarity of your goal. Majority of people are more or less coming to civil services because initially एक हाई बनी होती है कि यहाँ पावर है, रिस्पेक्ट है, अथॉरिटी है, रिकॉग्निशन है, so let's go for it. But if you look inside, very few people have that determined thing in mind कि यही करना है, nothing else. So you need to be very clear that why do you actually want to go for civil services. It requires years of effort. And वो effort तभी निकल के आएगा when that effort comes out from your heart. Every day in the morning you should have कि यही करना है. At night when you are going, you should know कि what is going on in your mind. So that is why clarity of your goal is very important thing that you have to focus upon. Second is interest. What I mean by interest, all of us wants to reach the destination, but we don't want to enjoy the journey. Even when I started preparing for civil services, I was like, polity, geography, matlab, humanities is something which I have never studied. So how will I do it? So you have to understand this thing very clearly कि you have to enjoy your preparation phase. अगर आप frustrated होकर के, depressed होकर के, बेमन पढ़ोगे तो नहीं आएंगी चीजें. Whatever you are reading, you have to understand it thoroughly and you have to interrelate it, and that will only happen when you will enjoy. But the point is, how will you actually enjoy it? What I realized from my experience was कि, say for example, you go to gym or you try to play a particular sport. Initially it is very rigorous कि the coach will make you take few rounds and you will do the drills. You don't enjoy it. But the moment you start picking up that sport, the enthusiasm comes from inside. And the same is with studies. कि initially 2-3 months आपको push करना पड़ेगा. You will read newspaper, you will not understand. You will be like, why am I doing it? You will read NCRTs, you will not understand it. You will be like, it is all cluttered up. But if you do it sincerely for the few months, and once you start picking up things, then everything will happen automatically and you will be able to enjoy and you will be able to get interest. Because then when you will write tests, when you will do something, you will get success, and that will keep you inspired कि नहीं, I am liking it, I am doing it. And third thing, what I learned was your attitude. इस जर्नी में बहुत failures आएंगे, बहुत ups and downs आएंगे, बहुत mood swings होंगे. But eventually you have to realize one thing कि what you want is something big, and for that you have to pay a price. So you have to be prepared for it. Most of the people fall over here. यहाँ पे आके लोगों का patience give up हो जाता है. But people who don't succumb to these things eventually succeed. Like Amrita. So many attempts. Most of the people would have given up, but she kept on it because she wanted it, and that is the reason she was able to succeed in this examination. Now I'll talk about preparation aspect. That what do I mean by my key learnings in terms of preparation? What I realized from my own experience. First and foremost thing I've already discussed with you was the point that initially give time to yourself and don't try to judge yourself in that initial phase. When you are starting your preparation, you will be starting by reading newspapers. You will not be able to understand articles. Don't worry about it. At least try to Google and understand the background of issues. At least try to Google and understand the key terms that are there in the newspaper. For example, अगर आप economics पे कोई article पढ़ रहे हो, उसमें repo rate, inflation, GDP, GNP use, and you don't know initially. So these are the areas you have to work upon. And जब आप 2-3 महीने चीज करोगे, तो things will automatically start coming up. Same is when you're reading, when you're trying to read your course material. आप जब पढ़ोगे आपको शायद चीजें clearly नहीं समझ आएंगी, and that is, you don't have to worry upon it. चीजें build up होती हैं in course of time. So that is the first thing I realized कि just try to focus and prepare. Don't try to judge yourself in the initial few months of your preparation and get कि मुझसे नहीं होगा या नहीं होगा जो भी है. First thing. Second is, I always feel कि quality matters over quantity. When you are studying in a day, don't think कि मैंने 8 घंटे पढ़ लिए, ये topic cover कर लिया, it's done. That is not the way we have to approach. This is very different from a university examination. यहाँ पे you have to not just understand a particular issue, but you also have to analyze and interlink that. So say for example, अगर मैं पढ़ रहा हूँ कोई skill development पे कोई initiative government ने लिया है, तो I need to understand that issue thoroughly and then relate it to how will it impact the social, political, economic aspect of the economy of the country. Similarly, whatever I am trying to read, firstly I have to be conceptually very clear on it, and then I have to analyze and link it. So when you are trying to study, just make sure this thing very clearly, your focus has to be on these aspects very much. That is the first thing. Second thing, what I feel is probably if you are taking classes, so how to schedule your day. What I focus upon, first thing was कि मैं जब क्लास जाता था तो उससे पहले टॉपिक पढ़ के जाता था, so that क्लास में जाकर के ऐसा ना हो कि it's all getting off my mind. So say for example I know कि आज economics में ये particular topic पढ़ाया जाएगा, I'll try to refer it from a standard book. I might not be able to understand, but no issues. क्लास में जब सर पढ़ाएंगे तो मुझे क्लियरली पता है कि क्या हो रहा है, else I would not be able to understand and ask questions. That was the first thing I would do. Second thing what I would do is कि अगर आज एक particular topic क्लास में पढ़ाया गया है, I'll come back and read that topic from my notes and as well from the standard books and try to consolidate on that particular topic आज के आज ही, ताकि ये pending ना हो. थर्ड थिंग, अगर कोई मिसलेनियस चीजें मैं पढ़ रहा हूँ तो आई विल ट्राई टू एलोकेट सम टाइम ऑन दोज पर्टिकुलर एस्पेक्ट्स एज वेल. एंड फोर्थ वाज करंट अफेयर्स. आई वुड स्टडी करंट अफेयर्स फॉर 2 to 3 years ऑन अ डेली बेसिस, इंश्योरिंग कि दिस इज द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट ऑफ आवर प्रिपरेशन, क्योंकि पेपर हैज बिकम वेरी कंटेम्प्रेरी. एंड ट्रस्ट मी, अगर आप ये चीज ओवर अ कोर्स ऑफ टाइम रेगुलरली करोगे, then things will automatically happen. Most of us what they do is कि classes में कुछ चल रहा है हम कुछ start कर लेते हैं या course pending करते रहते हैं. And if that will happen, then surely you are going to miss out on things. क्योंकि एक हफ्ता 2 हफ्ते भी चीजें pending होंगी तो दिमाग में fear आ जाता है कि यार अब कैसे होगा. So please from day one try to ensure that your each day has to be very balanced. And on each day you have to complete the targets that are being given to you, either if you are doing through coaching or whatever you are, however you are trying to pursue it. And on course of time, things will automatically start happening. Third thing which I feel is very important is consolidation, जिस पे initially हमारा ध्यान जाता ही नहीं है. Course is so big, so vast that सारा का सारा दिमाग में रखना is very difficult. So how do you go about it? I remember that September 2013, since the day I started my preparation, till the time I ended my preparation, I had notes of each and every topic which I covered in newspapers, in the magazines, and especially all the static books जिसमें भी चीजें याद करने वाली थी जो मुझे पता था कि याद नहीं रह सकती, I had written them down. And same way जो चीज analysis वाली है जहाँ पे I need to have some flow chart or something in my mind to understand and interpret the topic again, उसके भी मैंने notes बनाए हुए थे. So please try to keep this thing very clearly in your mind कि initially notes making will appear to be a very painful exercise, but eventually that is the most important thing. अगर आपने consolidate कर रखी हैं चीजें तो it becomes very easy to revise them again and again. And examination में यही चाहिए होता है कि you need to have key pointers in your mind. And same is with prelims कि the number of times you have revised things, it automatically clicks to your mind. So please ensure that you have to work on this consolidation wala part. Next important thing which I felt important is evaluation and revision. Generally what we do, even when what I did initially was कि I would study, leave what I have left over and move on to the next topics. But when you are preparing, just make sure कि हफ्ते में एक दिन periodically you keep revising whatever you have read in that particular week or in the month. Very, very, very important thing. Periodic revisions are important, and then later on also you have to revise your syllabus at least twice or thrice so that you are very thorough with things. And along with this is evaluation. Evaluation through test series. इसकी दो तरह से बहुत ज़्यादा importance है. पहली चीज ये कि when you test in your mind, you will be able to cover up your syllabus properly. कि ये target है और syllabus खत्म करके जाना है. And then when you will write the test, you will get an evaluation. That will be the time you will feel appreciated for yourself. If I share my story in this regard, till the time I wrote prelims in 2014, I never thought that UPSC Civil Services is my cup of tea. But after that, I joined a test series for mains examination. And to my surprise, out of 800 or 900 people who appeared in the test, I was among the top 20. I thought it is by chance or by luck I would have done well in this particular paper. And the next paper happened and again I was able to get rank among top 20. And that was the time I realized that I have a potential for writing. It is just I did not knew it myself. So that is the difference evaluation can create in you. That made me so confident that I was able to even push myself harder. So ये small appreciations बहुत important है in course of preparation because that will keep you going on and will also tell you that where are you missing out on things. So please keep this thing very, very, very clearly in your mind. Apart from that, last thing I have already told is कि पॉजिटिविटी इज द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग. अगर मैं अपनी पूरी कोर्स ऑफ प्रिपरेशन को देखूं, right from the beginning to the end, then what became the biggest differentiating factor for me was my transformation from being a negative in my attitude towards positivity. And when this thing happens, you will start succeeding in everything. I gave ZAT examination in college. I was not even able to score 60-70 percentile. Now when I gave, I was able to score 97.7 percentile. To my own surprise at how this has happened. Same with UPSC. That time I quit. This time I was able to score so well. So these things are very important, that you have to trust yourself and believe in yourself. Because intelligence wise या aptitude wise बहुत ज़्यादा difference नहीं होता है लोगों में. It is how do you approach a particular thing and do it actually makes a biggest differentiating factor. So it is your right mind and right effort that makes the biggest difference. That is what I just want to tell. One more thing which I want to talk about is current affairs. When you are preparing, please make sure कि you give a lot of time to current affairs. Current affairs is very important from prelims as well as from mains point of view. So first and foremost, you have to read newspapers very thoroughly, and along with newspapers, I would say try to refer one monthly magazine or Insights on India's Secure and Current Affairs initiative. क्योंकि newspapers will tell you what is going on a daily basis, but these magazines or online forums will give you summarized things, and you need both of them. And please make sure that you even make notes out of it. If you're doing it thoroughly, it will really help you a lot in your prelims and mains examination. That is very, very important thing. Last thing I would like to talk, as Pranessa asked me to talk about optional. I don't want to talk on this more because I could not see many hands. Question is regarding how do you choose your optional. So first of all, I believe that the ways you should not choose your optional is, firstly, don't think what is going on in the market. We see कि अच्छा इस बार geography ने बड़ा अच्छा perform कर दिया तो let's take geography. या market में PubAd पिटा हुआ है तो let's not go for PubAd. So first, that should not be your criteria. Second, don't go by a herd mentality कि बाकी लोग ये ले रहे हैं तो ये ले लेते हैं, या लोग बोलते हैं कि इसका syllabus बहुत कम है, ये easily cover up हो सकता है तो let's go for it. These are not the ways you have to choose your optional, क्योंकि optional एक बहुत बड़ा differentiating factor create कर देता है. Like if I talk about Athar only, Athar के last time 195 marks थे philosophy में, still he was able to get IRTS. Had he got normal marks 240, 250, which other people got, what kind of factor, differentiating factor it would have made? So optional makes a very, very, very big difference in your preparation and how do you perform in civil services. So when you're choosing an optional, firstly, keep your background in mind. अगर आपका background ऐसा है कि उससे related civil services में कोई optional है and you are in continuous link with your optional, आप उसे like करते हो and you think you have read it properly in your graduation, then ideally it is a very, very good thought to go for it, choosing that optional. But like me, people like me who do nothing in engineering and are totally clueless कि अब क्या करना चाहिए. So for those kind of people, I think first of all try to shortlist few subjects. All of us have this thing in mind कि if I talk about me, जब मैं आया था मुझे पता था कि मुझे पॉलिटी बहुत अच्छा लगता है, इंटरनेशनल रिलेशंस बहुत अच्छा लगता है, सोसाइटल एस्पेक्ट्स बहुत अच्छे लगते हैं, तो आई ट्राई टू शॉर्टलिस्ट फ्यू सब्जेक्ट्स which I felt are of my interest. That was the first thing I did. Second thing, what I tried to do was just try to go through the syllabus, last year papers, and read some basic chapters from an NCERT to actually identify whether I like it or not. And third thing I did was to meet some subject experts to know that what that subject is, and meet my seniors who have actually taken up that subject to know that what actually that subject entails. And only when you are properly informed and you are clear that this is the option to go for, then only go for that optional. So that is all what I have to say. Any queries, you can ping me on Facebook and ask me out. Thank you.
Thank you, Chandra Mohan. Very practical tips. He is sharing his own life experiences. Can we have a big round of applause for Chandra Mohan, please? Please.